everyone, welcome to the e-lecture series, an initiative taken by LG Institute of Pharmacy. Myself, Tosha Pandya, Assistant Professor, Pharmaceutical Technology Department. In this session, we are going to see about enzyme immobilization part 2. So let's begin with the session. In this session, we are going to see about enzyme immobilization part 2. In the previous session, we have seen about what is enzyme immobilization, different advantages and the applications of immobilizing the enzymes. We have seen the classification of different methods of immobilizing the enzymes, and we have seen adsorption method in detail. So in this session, we are going to see the another methods of immobilizing the enzymes in detail. So let's begin with the session. So the next method of immobilizing the enzyme is chelation or the metal binding. As we know, chelates means anything the complexes form with the help of metals. So your metals are used for immobilizing the enzymes. As you can see, metal and enzyme. Metals first activate the support material, which then binds with the enzyme. So this is the support on which we have metals and we have the enzymes which are attached by chelation. Okay, so here mainly transition metals such as titanium and zirconium are used, which are used for activating the support, and the immobilization is also known as the metal link immobilization. The next very important method of immobilizing the enzyme is covalent binding. As we know about the covalent bonds, they are very strong bonds, and as compared to adsorption method, which involves very weak bonds like the hydrogen bonds or weak van der Waals forces, covalent bond involves chemical linkages. So whenever the term chemical comes, it means you have different functional groups or the chemical groups involved in the binding. So here mainly the binding between the enzyme and support takes place through a strong covalent bond, and here the functional groups are involved. Different functional groups of support and functional groups of enzyme bind covalently to form the immobilized enzyme. Okay, so mainly the groups which are involved for immobilization are the amino groups present on the lysine or arginine. As we know, enzymes are proteins in nature, so they have different amino acid residues, which are active functional groups. Then you have carboxyl group of aspartic acid or glutamic acid. You have hydroxyl group of serine or threonine, and sulfhydryl group of the cysteine. As you can see here, you have enzyme which is covalently linked to the polymer or the support. So different steps can be involved in immobilizing the enzyme through covalent binding. One of the method is the activation by the functional reagents like cyanogen bromide or carbodiamide. The reaction procedures for joining an enzyme to a material with covalent bond are involved. Different reactions, as we know, we have different four types of reaction like the diazotization, the peptide bond formation, the group activation, and the polyfunctional reagents or the cross-linking method. So diazotization, as you know, it is formation of a diazo bond, okay, which mainly takes place between the amino-silated support, any support which is modified to have the amino groups, and between the enzyme it will form a diazo bond. Okay, the next is the peptide bond formation. Now you all know the peptide bond, it is CONH. So it may take place between the CO group attached to the carboxyl group of the enzyme and amide group of the support, or vice versa, which will form a peptide bond, CONH bond. Okay. The third is group activation. As we have seen, one of the steps of activation, one of the steps of immobilizing by covalent bond is the group activation. Here you require a group activating molecule like cyanogen bromide, which will activate the support, and then it will bind with the enzyme. And the last method is the polyfunctional reagents used or cross-linking, which we'll see in detail here. So in what happens in cross-linking is that you have some bi or multifunctional reagents like glutaraldehyde, glutaraldialdehyde, glyoxyl, diisocyanates, etc. So this will help in forming a cross linkage between the enzyme and the support. Okay. So mainly the cross linking involves the amino groups of lysine, but in occasional cases, the sulfhydryl groups of cysteine, phenolic OH groups of tyrosine, or imidazole group of histidine can also be involved here. So what are the main advantages of linkages by covalent bond? as we have seen, one of the major disadvantage of linkage by adsorption was the weak forces involved. It was leading to leakage of the enzymes, and moreover, the enzymes were adversely affected by the reaction conditions. So here, the major advantage is that there will be no leakage of enzyme. It has higher stability, and also the reaction is not affected by pH or any external conditions. The disadvantages here are also there. So you have pros and cons of any method. So disadvantage is that because it involves very strong linkage, involvement of the chemical group. So what will happen is that there may be partial or whole inactivation of the active site of the enzyme. Then it is also not cost effective, and it may also lead to major loss of activity of the enzyme. So the next two methods which we are going to see are the mechanical methods of enzyme immobilization. The methods which we have seen till now were the surface immobilization methods. Okay, the attachment of enzyme was taking place on the surface of the support. But here in the next two methods, the enzyme is within the support or the polymer, you can say. So first method is enzyme entrapment. So what is entrapment? Just imagine a spider on the web. Okay, just entrap. So the entrapment method is mainly the trapping of enzyme between the fibers, between the gel or the film. Okay, so this method can be achieved by mixing the enzyme with the polymer and then cross-linking the polymer to form a lattice structure that traps the enzyme. So it is mainly done in such a way that the proteins allow the penetration of the substrate. The main examples of the inclusion in gels are polyacrylamide gel or polyvinyl alcohol gels. In the fibers used are cellulose fibers or polyacrylamide gel fibers, and inclusion in microcapsules like polyamine, polybasic acid chloride monomers. Okay, so by this methods, the entrapment of the enzyme into the support takes place. The next method is micro encapsulation. Encapsulation means you just imagine a capsule in which you are fixed, okay, or that water balloon in which you are rotating in the on the water. That is just a capsular material, okay. So it is mainly physical trapping of the enzyme molecules, okay. And here it is very important that the support is semi-permeable in nature with controlled porosity so that it can allow the passage of the substrate and the product. So major advantages of this method are that there is no chemical modification because no chemical reaction is involved. It has higher stability and it has easy handling. But the disadvantages are the diffusion of substrate and product may occur, the loss of enzyme content may occur, and the substrate accessibility may also be reduced. So these were the methods of enzyme immobilization. Please do like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel Pharma Ignite, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the regular notifications so that you do not miss out any of the topics in this chapter. Thank you.